There's a word that is often used to describe us. It's called conspiracy theorist. And it's used as a pejorative for reasons I don't understand. And it means that apparently they don't understand that we're kind of serious about this business. And they think that by virtue of the fact that we don't believe what is being told to us, that it's not true, or that we're demented or something. I don't know what it is. The latest story regarding the Las Vegas Cybertruck official narrative stinks to high heaven. It's a story that is more deranged and strange and odd. It doesn't make any sense. And it never ceases to stop in trying our confidence, in insulting our intelligence, in making us feel that we're somehow demented. They love to do this to us. They love to make us feel like we're crazy. We're out of control. We don't know what's going on. We're going to be going through the facts of the latest. Have you heard about the unhinged note? The purported, I can't say the word, regarding the particular type of dispatch that was used, but this note that was sent by this feller, which theoretically explicates, expatiates, limbs, and describes his whatever. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's absolutely incredible. It doesn't make any sense. Enough. It doesn't. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. Now, what people say is, well, you don't understand. You see, it doesn't make any sense because these people are crazy. See, they love to do that. And when they call people crazy, then they can make up the rule any way they want. They can just create it out of nowhere, out of whole cloth, this crazy lunacy. They just create this thing. And whenever it doesn't make any sense, they say it's not us, it's them. It doesn't make sense with them. You see, they're crazy. So don't expect it to make sense. But you say, well, wait a minute. You're telling me the reason is this? Yes. And you're telling me this person was a patriot, both of them in the military, and yet where is this? Well, they were radicalized. And, well, can I ask any questions? No, you can't. Just accept this. Don't ask any questions. Don't. Stop asking questions. I'm tired of you asking questions. Stop it. Get ready, my friends. This one is absolutely going to be one for the record books. We also have some great moments when Gamala apparently forgot this thing called the Pledge of Allegiance. Or maybe she didn't. The great Tom Homan. And also this man, this leader of the Democrats, who was making flatulence references. It's true. And also an individual on ESPN or something or C-SPAN rather, who was advocating insurrection, and nobody did anything to stop it. To me, it was seditious. And I would venture to say that by virtue of this, C-SPAN would be aiding and abetting, counseling, procuring, or hiring, or acting as some form of accomplice to this. But in the meantime, sit back, my friend, and listen very, very carefully to a very, very serious issue that we have. Because with all of the excitement and happiness, the debt crisis, the number of credit card cancellations and property forfeitures, it's going through the roof. Even Bill Cosby. We're not necessarily going to waste a tear on him, but I want you to listen very, very carefully as to what's going on to a sizable faction of good Americans who need help. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt, plus the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now listen very, very carefully to a couple of things which are very, very important for us to bring to your attention now. Something which I would rather you listen very closely to. But before we begin, it's critical that we remind ourselves of some things that were happening in the news today. Now, as you know, my friends, I have been for the longest time a master of manualism, and that's right, hand flatulence, mimicking and providing a manual simulacrum and facsimile of flatus. It's who I am. So whenever I hear somebody reference it in terms of such in Congress, I take note.
Dream possible. We will fight hard for the freedom to vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it best. Hakeem Jeffries, what will he do?
The American dream possible. We will fight hard for the freedom to vote.
One more time in case you missed it.
The American dream possible. We will fight hard for the freedom
they
to vote.
They will fart hard, ladies and gentlemen. And also, let me explain something. How about the incredible, that patriot of patriots, Mr. Tom Homan, saying that catch and release is over day one.
One thing. Optics. All they care about is the optics of this crisis. They've been telling Border Patrol for 4 years, process quick, release quick. Because if there's no overcrowding, everything's fine. We can keep saying a secure border. And when you process quickly and release quickly, you don't have time to do a proper investigation. You don't have time to go through the pocket trash and find out what intelligence is there. You have time to deep dive investigation, actually interview this person. You don't have time to wait for the FBI vetting to even come back. Several times this past year, they released people so quickly that after they released, as you know, you and I talked about this story, several times they came back hot after their release several days later. So this administration is all about quick process and release. However, the Trump administration, President Trump, the game changer who secured the border's highest level ever, we're going to end catch and release. And that means we got time to investigate these people and do a deep dive in everybody.
Absolutely fantastic. Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say, our good friend Freedom says, here we go again now, Lionel, Judge. New York sentencing judge 10 days before the inauguration. Oh, don't worry about it. They're going to release him or suspend it indefinitely or dissolve it. It's going to be gone. Don't worry about it. Like it never happened. Our good friend Ramona, happy New Year, Lionel Nation. Ramona, thank you so much. White Monkey says Chief Kirkpatrick fired as Oakland police chief for running over pedestrians with her own car. Can't make this up. Winds up Chief of New Orleans. White Monkey, as you notice, I hope you have been subscribing to my newsletters. I've been talking about this for days. And also, LaToya Cantrell, the mayor of Nolans. The same thing, her particular problems. So my friend, my good young man, if you want to find out what's going on, you make sure you listen here, right here at Lionel Nation, and make sure you subscribe. Subscribe, I say, to our newsletter. Now listen to this very carefully. This is something you should watch.
I cannot support any.
This is I think C-SPAN, and this caller actually endorses insurrection. And this fine news person here does nothing to stop it or say, oh, come on, no. And I think that might be construed as aiding, abetting, constantly procuring or hiring or acting as a source of accomplice to the notion of seditious conspiracy. Listen carefully.
Sorry, I cannot support an insurrectionist. I just can't. And I would really love to see Democrats and independents do an insurrection on Donald Trump.
Look at her face.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. But this, my friends, this one might be the best one ever. This is our own Kamala, who is trying to issue her version of the national anthem, and she apparently either forgets, doesn't know, or she is arrebatado. Either piteado, high, gooned, waxed, or just generally up.
In pledging allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the United States. Pledge allegiance 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 to the United States of the United States of America and to the.
What a nothing she is. Now, do you think she did this on purpose? I don't know. Do you think maybe she did it in some form of some kind of crazy I don't know. I don't know. But she did it nonetheless. Now let's talk about something. Let's talk about a story, the latest story, my friends, and I want you to listen good and gather around. The man with the goodies this year. This is something which was so great, so wonderful. It was, well, let me explain it to you. This was today's latest story. And I want to make sure you listen very carefully and you pay close attention and you grasp the severity of what you're hearing right now. Now listen carefully. I can't say the word. It begins with an S. I can't say it. They don't like it when I say it. But I think you know what it means. Self-dispatch. I think you can dig it. I knew you could. But the particular note that they call, and I don't even know what it is. The story is so vague, so strange, so weird, so odd of the ordinary. But this particular note, purportedly, allegedly, putatively written by this person, the Cybertruck bomber, ostensibly, responsible for the explosion outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, ostensibly, putatively, allegedly, presents this is according to the Daily Mail, an alarming and unhinged narrative. I don't know if it's alarming or if it's even unhinged, because these people read these things because they can't imagine that maybe these people are speaking the truth. Maybe, oddly enough, they're speaking the truth. You know, I was reading something from the great, I'm not going to mention, but this one particular person who's a great legal writer, and everything he does, he just assumes everything he hears is true. He's very good at analyzing, indictments and things. But when it comes to being in all suspicious and trepidatious and being rather chary, chary, of what's going on, he is not able to do so. But apparently, this is very interesting that apparently this individual alleges that China has been covertly, listen to me carefully, stop what you're doing, put down the drink. That means you, put down the drink. That China has been covertly stalking the United States with advanced drones launched from submarines I remember the other day I was saying the next thing is going to be drones, but I didn't kind of mean it like this. But as you recall, I was saying this. I said, because the next thing is important about drones. Drones are important because we went through that little kind of a psyop, little toodaloo kind of a thing, that little fandango. We went through this choreographed type of passion play where we were freaking out and then becoming acclimated and nobody did anything. And I said, this would be the perfect way to deliver. Remember this? Remember I said this? I don't want to keep telling you this, but I got to remind you sometimes. I don't think you take what I say very seriously. But I said, this is what I said, I wouldn't be surprised. That's my code word for what's going on here. And I said this. It will make complete and total sense. Well, my friends, it seems like I may have been onto something. It seems like maybe I was onto something, and maybe I didn't even know what I was talking about. I thought maybe Mr. Prescient again was spot on, and I knew exactly what was happening. I don't want to say that too often because a lot of people love to say that. Well, I know exactly. Well, sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we can hit it fairly correctly, and sometimes not. But at the time I said this, I said, I want you to know what's going on. I want you to be aware of this. I want you to grasp this. I want you to dig what's happening. It's very, very important because we have to think kind of like them in a very strange way. Let me continue this. This individual alleges that China has been covertly stalking the United States with advanced drones launched from submarines, describing these unmanned aircraft, hence the word drones, UAVs, Ps, Ss, whatever, as the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. Let me say this again. This is the note from this feller who supposedly is gone. He said that these drones are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. This man is a former SFs, former Special Forces, Green Beret, active U.S. Army Ranger, sent the note. Listen to me. Pay attention. He sent the note to retired U.S. Army intel officer Sam Shoemate shortly before the attack. Why? Now ask yourself the question, why? What is he doing? He's worried about, he wants people to know what he was doing. He wants people to be aware, for the love of God, of what's happening. So what does he do? He rents or leases, or I guess maybe a Tesla, a truck, and fills it with fireworks. Now, by the way, I talked to a friend of mine whose name will always remain nameless. A man who has been in law enforcement and knows bombs and bomb disposal, and he said he knew immediately. Maybe this is what Elon said. He said immediately he knew this was fireworks. Why? Why? Because of the fire, the smoke, the non-black powder, or the sparkles, or whatever it was. That this kind of flash pattern, this kind of explosion pattern was indicative of, listen carefully, dear God, listen to me, was indicative of fireworks. So maybe Elon was onto something. So why would somebody who says, I want to save the country, how are you going to do it? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a Tesla. I'm going to fill it with fireworks and propane cans. Then I'm going to myself, which I don't know. How many of you folks think maybe he might have, shall I say, met his peril before, set up? It might have been left. He might have been already, along with his passport and his identification, that somehow escapes. Okay, fine. We've heard that before. Was it Muhammad Atta? Remember that? Remember that in a certain plane on a certain date? He had his passport. And he had it on him, and it was on him. He was in the plane, in the tube, in the building, boom, and somehow it flew out. It flew out. He threw it out the window. And it landed on the... Oh. Does this make any sense to you? No. But you can say, well, the reason why it doesn't make any sense is because he's crazy. Okay. Well, this gentleman also claimed that these drones use gravitic propulsion systems. And my folks, my friends, you don't have to be Stephen Greer to know what that's about. Gravitic propulsion. What does it mean? I've heard it called anti-gravitic. And it works as follows. You have, as you know, this thing called time-space. And time-space, dear friends, is really this unique little kind of something that Mr. Einstein had come up with. It's a fascinating notion. And it's a little dip, it's a divot, it's a dimple, it's a little indentation of time-space. And you fly along this. And the idea is that you use acceleration as your mode of propulsion, not liquid fuel or anything, but propulsion. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Good. Now, I'm not a physicist, I don't know, but if I recall correctly, listening to my good friend and your friend, the man with this unique wart pattern on his face, Mr. Eric Weinstein, I believe he said that Ed Witten's father, the famous physicist, Ed Witten's father was into that? I don't know. Anywho, I'm not a physicist. I'm not going to pretend I know. But he said that these drones use gravitic propulsion systems and have been deployed by China from the Atlantic for years. But recent activity indicates, listen to me carefully, an escalation. He compared, dear patriot, their use to China's employment of surveillance balloons for SIGINT. What is that? See, we in the biz, that's for signals intelligence. Oh, yes. SIGINT. It's the way we talk. I'm an expert. I'm a spy. I know. And ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Now, he alleged that dozens of such balloons, are constantly in operation. Now, according to the now dispatched bomber, these advanced drones possess near limitless payload capacity and stealth capabilities, not the ones that we saw. These things were like the size of a Buick, hovering over Trenton, but I digress. But he talks about near limitless payload capacity and stealth capabilities, presenting what he called a checkmate scenario for U.S. national security. Now, this particular note that was sent to his friend, why didn't anybody else? I don't know. Demanded that the U.S. government disclose its own history of employing and weaponizing such technologies, as well as China's activities and potential countermeasures. This man warned that China is poised to attack anywhere on the East Coast. Now, let me ask you something. If you were China, which is over here, here we are. Here's the United States, right? Here's the West Coast, right? Pacific. And over here is China. Do you think China would be going to the East Coast? China would have to go all the way from China, would have to go over Russia, fly all the way over here. I'm just saying. I don't know. Always look at the globe. Always. Always know the geographical propinquity and lack thereof. Now, investigators, as you can imagine, are examining the potential connections between the Las Vegas bombing and the New Orleans terrorist attack. Another one, too, where this guy supposedly was weaponized, was radicalized by ISIS, I guess, because they found, a flag. What did he want? I don't know. What was his cause? I don't know. What was the purpose of it? I don't know. Are they connected? Well, according to Kirkpatrick, and she said he's a lone wolf. Remember that? Woof. A lone wolf. What the hell's going on here, JR? Do you think they were connected? They were both at Fort Bragg, they were both in the military. Are they connected? Connected how? What was their message? Also considering whether they're asking whether the actions of Las Vegas were driven by personal grievances or mental health issues. It's always mental health. Is he crazy? I don't know if he's crazy. The content of the note with its interesting claims, I don't think they're far-fetched. We don't think they're far-fetched. Adds a new layer, they say, of complexity to the incident and raises questions about his state of mind. Always make him crazy. So why is he sending the letter to a friend? The explosion outside the Trump Hotel apparently killed one person, injured 6 others, compounding the shock of his apparent self-dispatch moments before the blast. How can you do this? Now, let me ask you a question. I have just hired you to be a part of my team. I've just hired you. What about this doesn't make any sense to you? What about this story stinks? Tell me. And whatever you do, don't bring up Five Eyes or CIA. For the love of God, let us stick to this. Self-driving cars, he could have been perhaps out of commission immediately. Very, very good. Absolutely, positively true. How do we know that? There's different ways. They say he was so, dare I say, I don't want to say charred, but he was so affected by the fire that it was almost impossible to identify. So how do we know who it is? They're not going to tell us. Do you think Alethea Duncan, the bejeweled, the nasally bejeweled sad sack, ASAC is going to tell us? I don't think so. Does this make any sense to you? I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just fascinating. What are the questions I don't understand this. These are some of the questions which I have. Come on, you please. And you all are spooks in your own right. Hang on. Let's talk about some other things. What is the purpose of this? If you are going to do something, does it not make sense, ladies and gentlemen, to say, I want you to understand precisely what it is that I'm trying to do? I want you to understand what my motivation is. I don't want to leave these vague, open-ended things. The first dude, the first feller, radicalized. What did he say? What was the purpose of this? I know that you may have strong feelings one way or the other about October the 7th, but we knew precisely what the hell they were talking about. We knew what October the 7th was about. We knew what it was about. Pilgrim says it was a work. What are they up to, Mr. L? Well, what do you mean it was a work? We don't know. What are the forensics? I want to bring in a Michael Bodden. I want him to come in and say, look at this and tell me what was the time of this man's, dare I say, dispatch. You can look at the lungs to see what was or what was not inhaled. You can do a variety of other things to find out how things are, to see the time of dispatch. What was the message? Why is he sending a letter to a friend of his in Intel warning about drones? I've got to save America. How? By renting a truck, a Tesla truck, filling it up with propane and fireworks. And that'll show them. Not only that, his family says he was patriotic. He wasn't any lefty. None of this makes any sense. Elon stated the car was not on auto. He said they could even use the car again. They can even clean it up. I don't think they're going to do it. What's going on here? The number one government shell. A shell or a shill? What does that mean? Who? Who is? What are you talking about? We've got to be clear. We don't know anything. It's wonderful. See, if I worked, my friends, if I worked with the government, I would say, let's do something. Yeah, let's mess with them. Let's do our favorite plan B. Let's just bring in some lone wolf crazy people. Maybe. Let's have some dude with a funny name who has been with the military all of a sudden drive a truck through. And let's do it in a city where the Super Bowl happens to be. And let's make sure that three of the most incompetent people, Alethea. Oh, have you seen Alethea, the tattooed lady? Alethea, LaToya, and Annie Kirkpatrick. Let's make sure we have them do this. They're the worst. They don't know what they're doing. Especially Alethea. 1 minute is terror, then it's not. They don't know what they're doing. This is beautiful. I saw a picture of two women walking with FBI jackets on. Both of them, one looked like she was a good 250. I think it was a woman. I can't tell. And the other one looked like, I don't know. The image of the FBI is over. DEI and diversity is completely destroyed. Any kind of faith. They don't even look like these people anymore. Sam Whiskey says, I think General Zod just landed on the moon. Interesting. Lionel, this guy had his passport with him. Do people normally take their passports with them on domestic road trips? Oh, it's very good. Very good. Do you remember one time when O.J. Simpson, or as it's called in West Tampa, oh yay. When O.J. Simpson was caught, or he was nabbed, he had his passport with him. Why? Johnny Mazza says, did you see the news crew in New Orleans showing off the perp's apartment with the Quran open, the recipe for the bomb ingredients on the table, and the search warrant? Yeah. I mean, come on. What is the message of that? Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the Muslim community to say, are we going to go through this crap again? There are 333 million Americans in this country. There are about 2.5 million Muslims. This doesn't happen. We don't even know what this is. If you're going to do something that's terroristic, you've got to make sure people know what the hell it is. We're not buying this. Now, I don't know what it is. Let me also tell you a story. And listen to me and listen carefully. When you go to someone and you tell them you're not buying this crap, when you're saying, I'm not buying this crap, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't like this story. I don't like it. I don't like this business. I don't like this. The story makes no sense. It stinks. It reeks. They will invariably tell you, well, what do you think happened? Doesn't that sound familiar? Well, what's your version? You know what your answer always is? It's your story. You tell me. You tell me. I don't have to give you an alternative story. I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. If you think the John Benet Ramsey story is you don't have to tell you, well, here's what I think happened. No, you can say, no, your version of the official story, I don't buy. Sorry. It's your story, not mine. You came up with this, but after 3 days, we're all going to forget. It's all going to be over with, my friends. Pilgrim says they might want a backlash against folks. There's not going to be any backlash. Pilgrim, don't you understand, my dear friend? There's no backlash. We don't do anything. We don't care. Takes us off our eye off the ball. We're not talking about the border. We're not talking about anything like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking nothing. We're talking about, I don't know what we're talking about. But it'll be back to normal again. But it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand this. There was years ago, Charlie Manson and his people, it was purported that he did this thing called creepy crawlies, in which he, and this is important, in which he would go into people's houses and rearrange furniture. Did you ever hear that story? So people would come home at night and they go, what the hell is this? And they would call the police. He goes, hello? Yes. Somebody broke in and rearranged our furniture. What? Well, why would they want to do that? I don't know. JTE says they want continuity of government. UFOs, terrorism. Maybe. They're not going to get it with this. JTE, they're not going to do that. No. COG, not with this. Sam Whiskey says there is the truth and there is the real truth. Or we don't know. We just don't. There's not enough information. There's not enough information. But it does. But I say, bullshit. Give me a new story. I'm not buying this. It's ridiculous. But the people in the media, the people in the news, I was on the Mark Simone show today, and they said, there's nobody in you, well, not with exception to you, of course. I said, but nobody says anything about this. Nobody questions this. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. You don't think Hannity ever says, does this make sense to you? No, because he's got the little CIA pin. You talk about a shill. He's got his little pins on, little law enforcement. I'm not going to say anything against. I believe everything. Plus, when they make as much money as I do, those are your friends. They do your security. You're not going to piss these people off. You don't give a shit about that. Whatever you want to do. Some guy drives in, nothing. They didn't even care about the person who tried to assassinate the president. We still don't know about that one. Nothing ever happened with that. Nothing. Today they were talking about Mike Johnson, whether he's speaker. Oh my God. We were pretending like this is the biggest story in the world. Does it matter? Does it really matter? No, it doesn't matter. See Matt Gaetz' new face? Oh my God. Dear God. What is he doing? What do people do? Why do they do this? And I told you about that creepy guy. I told you. I said, remember this. And you told me, no, it's all about, they faked it all. They didn't fake it. Come on. But that's moot at this particular point. It's moot. All I'm saying is this case stinks. But the good news is DEI is dead. Look no further than the New York City Police and these groups. DEI is dead. Stick a fork in it. It's dead. It doesn't make any sense. You've got these incompetent rubes. I mean, and did you catch, remember, Alethea, I think she took her nose stud out or whatever. I don't know what she's trying to act. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? The president has so much work before him. I want to go back and I want there to be dress codes, physical fitness codes. Nobody in the FBI who's fat, some jelly marble waffle butted steatopygian, heavily just some waddling walrus with studs and oh no, big fancy ear. No. You got to be in shape. You got to look the part, and you got to have a uniform. You got to look the part. I'm telling you. But this story is beautiful. Just go and ask any of your friends, why would you, like you said, why would you bring in a passport? I told you this one time when OJ was doing this passport thing. And at the time, we were sitting around talking, and I would ask friends of mine, I said, let me see your passport for a minute. He goes, what? I said, let me see your passport. I don't have a passport. Why did OJ have his? Who brings their passport? You're so right about that. You're so right about that. But listen to me. We're not going to believe this stuff. So we'll sit back and we'll enjoy ourselves and we'll watch it. By the way, special programming note, tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning, not 9. Not 8, 8:30. Okay? All right, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Mattless X says, When the reporter walked through Jabbar's apartment, she was walking by chemicals. So he is potentially making WMDs with this sitting out, and they let some reporter just roam around in there. What if Novichok, yeah, Sarin is there? I know, it's a great question. They're so stupid, madly. You see, when you say this, they call you a conspiracy theory. They call you an idiot. You're spot on. It's bullshit. How much of this? I wish we would have nothing but counter-programming. You see where Joe Rogan's, for the first time, he's not the number one person on Spotify? Whatever. Okay. Did you hear about the person who's number one? I didn't. Not that that matters. But I wish we had a TV show called Bullshit, where people like hit the bell. Bullshit, correct. We're not taught to be critical thinkers. Nothing. We're just whatever these people are, whatever they tell you. Whatever they tell you. So my friends, we're going to have this is going to be so great. And the stories are going to be terrific. And we're going to be able to talk about this. And I want you to use your head. And I want you to say, when things don't make sense, I want you to say, this doesn't make any sense. And be proud of it. Don't fight it. Ask yourself, this doesn't make any sense. No matter what it is, you have every right in the world to say, I don't believe this. Prove it to me. It's your story. You came to me. I was minding my own business. And you told me, hey, did you hear about this guy? He's a radicalized whatever. Well, this is your story. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So that's all, my friends. That's all, my friends. It's a beautiful 35 degrees in New York City. We're going to wait for the drones. Remember, Uncle Lenny told you about the drones. Brad Rung says, your friend, happy birthday, Greta Thunberg. 22, huh? Oh, bless her heart. Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg. How dare you? I could be in school. And I am here. How dare you? She aged out, poor thing. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. In any event, my dear friends. Brad Rung, thank you. Matt Lissex, thank you. Sam Whiskey, JTE, Pilgrim Media. Johnny Maz, the Spaz. Pilgrim Media, I think I said that one. White Monkey. Ramona Heath. Ramona, you son of a gun, you. Freedom, thank you. Freedom. It's just some people talking. Thank you so much. And also, please show the chat Ghost in the Machine YouTube. Please show the chat Ghost in the Machine YouTube. Please show the chat. I don't know what that means. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Not sure what that means. So many times I say, I don't know what that means. It's like that great, it was a great Oliver Reed interview. He was bombed out of his mind. He was talking about the chocolates and it was wonderful. And he kept saying, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. But I know you meant well by that. And I know you did. And I wish I could. I wish I could help you. But I don't know what you mean. But I'm going to do my best. All right, dear friends. God bless you. Make sure you have a wonderful day tomorrow. Make sure you remember 8:30 in the morning. It's been a rough day. Mrs. Elda's taking down Ed, our tree, and it's a very, very sad day. We love our Ed. Another Christmas gone. We hope you had a wonderful time. New Year's here. It's a wonderful time. All right, dear friends. Don't forget to follow. Make sure you subscribe to Lionel Nation and Lionel Legal and Lynn's Warriors. All right, dear friends? All right. Okay, dear friends, have a great and a glorious night. Thank you so much for your kindness, your perspicacity, and your alacrity and your intellectual celerity. I mean that you are Vatic, Pythonic. You augur the future. You are prescient. You are indeed appreciated. Until tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, my friends. I say to you then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.